I picked a few photographs out for us to look at.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because everybody enjoys laughing about the tweaker shelter. That landed on the moon. Of course, this particular tweaker shelter, when they start to design something, it's always been curious to me is why it has all of these unusual shapes, because it takes an awful lot more technical ability to now you've got to seal this thing to be in a vacuum.
Yep.
Right? And you're not maximizing the space that you have to fit in the rocket. It's a round tube that you're trying to put this thing into.
That's
so to
right.
maximize the space of this, wouldn't you want it to match the container it's going to go into?
Now that's logical. NASA are not logical.
But just before we go to the other part into the tweaker shelter itself, I found this photograph and I was looking at it, and of course the highly unusual little tiny blue marble sitting there instead of a big ball. And I was looking at the lighting, and then I pulled the next two photos later up. And I was looking at it, and of course the highly unusual little tiny blue marble sitting there instead of a big ball. And I was looking at the lighting, and then I pulled the next two photos later up. And what is it doing over here?
Well, that's where they put the spotlight, isn't it?
The light is coming straight down. It's almost vertical on them. Here, you can see the shadow line here coming down.
Yep.
So if you follow that shadow line from there to there up, the sun has got to be up there. And yet, this is showing up in the shadow. If you look right there, it's showing up in the shadow right there. So it's over. It's coming in far enough from where he's standing to come in and across that. It's just one of the most unusual things. And of course, you can see that it is a light.
You've got the stand for the light there, or something there. It shouldn't be there because the sun is so bright it wouldn't necessarily allow that sort of shadow to be on the picture.
Yeah, but it's got to be up this way.
Of course it has, yeah.
And now it's over here. An additional sun is over there. What I'd like to do is cover some of the things that we've gone over before. Because we've covered the lighting shooting up into here where it can't possibly be. even getting reflections here and reflections there. Those are direct light reflections coming off. And then you have an additional lighting over here causing even brighter reflections.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We've got to get the surface reflection of the moon dust, we got to get the reflection off of the lunar module. We got all of that in place and properly modeled, we thought, but the image still didn't look quite right. There was some additional light source that was just missing. Turns out we found a clip of videotape that was shot from the other side of the ladder. As he's coming down the ladder from the opposite side, there is a huge glowing bright white light. And as we analyzed that video a little more, we realized it's Neil Armstrong himself. The bright white space suit that he was wearing reflected all that sunlight off of him and back onto Buzz Aldrin. So essentially, Neil Armstrong himself was a light source in that scene.
It makes sense when you look at, the albedo value, which is the amount of light that's reflected into your eye basically from a surface. For the lunar soil is around like 12%, but the suits, because they're like a Teflon coated material, they're around 80 to 90%. And so they're very reflective. It's almost like a mirror, except you can't see something in the reflection, it just reflects the light.
Once we pulled that information in and actually modeled a second astronaut and the light coming off of him, the bounced light was correct. And Buzz Aldrin looked lit properly as it did in that very famous photo taken in 1969.
And reflections under here, up on the bottom side of the leg, but going all the way in the door. Even if they claimed it was coming off the ground, it's going right into the door. The ground's down here, it's coming up. How does it get lit there? How does that get lit there?
Exactly.
This comes out about 4 feet. On there blocking that, and just want people to know how that lighting works. And of course, that band of lighting there.
Yeah.
And then of course we have to mention the fact that it's PLSS is actually right up against the door frame.
Yeah.
And there's 15 inches of console sticking out inside of there that can't possibly be.
That's good. You got plenty of room on your left. You're a little close on the right. Back down a little bit. Back down. That's it. Doing fine. You got it.
Okay, Houston, I'm on the porch.
Roger, Neil. Standing by for your TV.
The ground's down here, it's coming up. How does it get lit there? How does that get lit there?
Exactly.
This comes out about 4 feet. On there blocking that, and just want people to know how that lighting works. And of course, that band of lighting there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have to mention the fact that it's
Zemajska sila teži za mara.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have to mention the fact that its PLSS is actually right up against the door frame.
Yeah.
And there's 15 inches of console sticking out inside of there that can't possibly be.
Oh, you're even. That's good. You got plenty of room on your left. You're a little close on the right. Back down a little bit. Back down. That's it. Doing fine. You got it.
Okay, Houston, I'm on the porch.
Roger, Neil. Standing by for your TV.
Can't possibly be. We have the panoramic as well.
That's actually a composite, that picture.
Yes. This is the panoramic composite. I think it was 3 photographs. And they've touched it up even farther. Look at the lighting up into there.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's just unbelievable. Of course, they put this in here for the reflective surface of the moon.
Yep. But that position of the sun is completely wrong.
The diffusion of light sets it straight off. I mean, I don't know how when they put this together, but they managed to blur that all the way in there. Of course, you can see the hot spots coming in here and it fades way off over here. Sunlight just doesn't do that. I mean, there's so many things they missed in it and so many things they enhanced. Look at the lighting here. Look at down in here. Like, that's coming from a direct light to be able to strike that like that. And right there, look at that coming in.
It might be worth also mentioning that top rung where you've got the big obstruction in the middle of the rung.
Yeah, right there and there. It's the third rung down is the first one that goes over top.
Yeah, it does. But it's worth pointing out that that would require very careful placement of the feet.
Okay, give me a mark, Al, when you start using film. I just started using film now.
Roger, you on 24?
12.
Roger, 12.
Okay, let me close the hatch. But not too far. Tell me when I hit the bottom step, and the bottom step. I'm on it. Yep. Oh, okay. Look at this, the LR cubed.
It might be worth also mentioning that top rung where you've got the big obstruction in the middle of the rung.
Yeah, right there and there. It's the third rung down is the first one that goes over top.
Yeah, it does. But it's worth pointing out that that would require very careful placement of the feet.
Okay, give me a mark, Al, when you start using film.
I just started using film now.
Roger, you on 24?
12.
Roger, 12.
Okay, let me close the hatch. But not too far. Tell me when I hit the bottom step, and the bottom step. I'm on it. Yep. Oh, okay. Look at this, the LR cubed.
Yeah, you have your nap there. It's all Here's a beautiful scene, this one in the composite, where there's absolutely no blast crater whatsoever.
No, not at all. And no dust in the footpads either.
Plenty of gas, babe. Hang in there. 18 feet, coming down at 2. got it made. Come on in there, 24 feet. Contact light. Shit.
No, and the garbage bag is already out the door before Neil gets out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the impact of this entire machine landing.
Feet, 3.5 down, 9 forward. 5%. 185. Okay, 75 feet. There's looking good, down a half.
Roger. 60 seconds.
60 seconds. Lights on. 6. Down 2.5. Forward. Forward. 40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Straight shadow.
Stand by for 30.
4 forward. 4 forward. Drift into the right a little.
30 seconds.
Down a half. 30 seconds. Forward. Just. Good. Okay. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. ACA at a descent. Mode control both auto, descent engine command override off. Engine arm off. Port 13 is in.
We've had shutdown.
We copy you down, Eagle.
Okay, everybody, T1, stand by for T1.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
Contact light. Shit.
You have one-time compression legs starting just below the secondary strut down, and just the normal weight of this craft, these legs would compress by 10 inches, and that would wrinkle the mylar on the outside of it. Thus, before you have an impact, so whichever leg hit first is going to have the greatest impact, and yet they're all sitting fully erect, fully extended out. They haven't had any compression of any kind on them. They haven't had any compression of any kind on them. And there's a nice close-up of it. Just beautiful, right? They should wrinkle up at least 10 inches down on this thing. That's just standing there. Whichever ones hit first are going to be farther down. They're designed to compress 32 inches in total.
There's no indication of any form of wrinkling.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Actually, I think the legs are just locked out so they don't compress.
could be, could be.
Because I saw other ones, they didn't even have the slides on them. There's Apollo 12,
Same thing there.
and you're starting to get all of the same lighting, incredible lighting. The fall off of lighting in Apollo 12 is just crazy. The hot spot is right there.
Yeah, no blast crater.
No blast crater, no compression of the legs,
No.
no dirt in the pads. And then you start to see that they were having a bit of a rain event. And you can see that it's wet. You can see it there where it's drying off everywhere on this piece of machinery as well. What is interesting is that he actually unloads this thing. This is the RTG. And that is a highly radioactive piece of equipment that gets inserted down into here. When he opens that up, you think the radiation coming off of that core that he pulls out of there would affect his radio? His communications? You think it would just create static like anything, right?
Well, you think it would affect the photographic film as well.
You think it should completely damage it, should completely wipe out the film camera that he's got on his chest.
Yeah.
Those are just a few things that they did wrong while they were making this little movie presentation for the world to look at.
Yeah. What's the piece of equipment the RTG was being put into?
That little core that was stored on the outside up there, radioactive core.
Okay, but what is the box supposed to do? What experiments were they going to conduct with that?
That was supposed to generate electricity to keep the battery charged up on the experimental equipment. And here's the pack with the experimental equipment, all of it stored in this nice little thing with those Boyd bolts, those little red dots you see there are Boyd bolts. And you just push the tool in, give it a turn, and then they pop out to release them. This machine was supposed to power all of to create the energy.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a heat sink with two different kinds of metal in it. As the heat energy is coming out of the radioactive core, okay, creates electricity across the two different heat paths.
So after they put the RTG into the heater, did they then move it away from the lander?